What gives, Alina? You left so soon. But even before that, you sat on the complete opposite side of the room as me. It's almost like you were avoiding me. I thought this would be a chance for us to catch up.
Yeah, sorry about that, Mom, but I had to go. I came with a friend and she had plans afterward. Also, I have a big test tomorrow that I still need to study for. So, yeah, as soon as the funeral service ended, we had to leave right away.
Oh, what a shame. It's been so long since I've seen you. I couldn't believe what a coincidence it was that I saw you there. Imagine, I haven't seen my daughter in years, and I happened to bump into you at a funeral. My goodness, it's like something right out of a movie. You've grown up into such a lovely young woman, Alina. I almost didn't recognize you at first. I was shocked when I saw that it was you.
I was pretty shocked, too, when I noticed that you were there. I mean, the funeral was for the mother of a friend of mine. Why were you even there? Did you know her?
Did I know her? Sweetheart, we were inseparable. Back when we were both in the PTA, we used to talk to each other all the time. I saw a flyer for her funeral service on Facebook. That's the only reason I knew she had passed away. I thought I would come by and pay respects to her and her family.
Okay, I didn't remember you ever talking about her, though.
And what about your father, dear? Why didn't he come?
Well, he never really had much interaction with her. He wasn't in the PTA like you were, since he was always busy with work. Why do you ask, though? Did you want to see him or something?
Who, me? Don't be ridiculous. If I never see that man again, it'll be far too soon. No, it's for the best that he didn't come, actually. Nothing good would come of us bumping into each other. Honestly, though, Alina, I know it's been a while since all of that happened, but I'm very grateful you allowed me to stay in touch with you.
You know, there's one question that I've been meaning to ask you for quite some time, Mom. Why? Why did you do it? Why did you all of a sudden disappear like that? It was a massive shock for me. And whenever I asked Dad about what happened, all he ever told me was that I should just forget about you.
Well, it's kind of a difficult thing to answer, Alina. Grown-up matters can be very complicated, you see.
Grown-up matters? Have you forgotten how old I am, Mom?
Ah, right you are. Silly me. I still remember you as a little girl you were when I left. I suppose if I had to give a reason, the biggest one would be that I was sick and tired of not having any money.
It was about money?
You might not have been aware at the time, but your father was only earning around $15,000 a year. That's barely enough to live on for just one person, much less an entire family. I had to work a part-time job myself in order to make ends meet, and I wasn't going to put up with that lifestyle anymore. I deserved far better than what your father could provide me.
And what about me, Mom? Was it worth it to abandon me over money?
To tell the truth, I wanted to take you along with me when I left, but I had no means of supporting the two of us just on my income. And you were always Daddy's little girl, so I suppose I simply felt too guilty about tearing you away from him.
Uh-huh, I see. So taking me away from Dad would be too sad for you, but you had no problem with abandoning me entirely? Do I have that right?
Please, Alina, don't make me out to be some monster. Of course I felt bad about leaving you behind, but you have to understand my circumstances at the time. I had been living in poverty thanks to your father for years at that point. I was on the verge of a mental breakdown. If I didn't escape from that living hell right then and there, I know I would have snapped and ended up in an insane asylum.
All right, I get it. It's all in the past anyway. I've long since moved past that, and I'm not going to ask you about it anymore.
Asylum. Thank you for understanding, dear. You always were such a sweet, kind, gentle little girl. But then again, you're not so little anymore, are you? If I'm not mistaken, you must be in college right about now.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to college in town.
Oh. Well, congratulations on making it this far, Alina. I'm surprised you managed to be able to go to college, though. I can't imagine your father could afford it with his meager income.
He worked harder than you can imagine in order to pay for my tuition.
I would have to say so. There's no way he could afford your college tuition without putting in a massive amount of effort. I mean, 1 year of college tuition cost more than he makes in a year.
Yeah, Dad's nothing if not a hard worker. Plus, he always puts me and my needs before his own. I respect him more than anyone else in the world.
Yes, my problems with your father never had anything to do with his personality. He was a fine, upstanding man. But you know, in the real world, personality only takes you so far. I simply couldn't stay with him, no matter how good of a man he was.
I don't doubt that there were a lot of things going on between you and Dad. I mean, I was just a little kid at the time. There's no way I would be able to comprehend it all.
Oh, Lena, you have no idea how relieved I am to hear you say that. Things didn't work out between your father and I, but I would still love to see you again sometime. There are so many things I'd like to ask you. We have a lot to catch up on. I missed most of your middle school years, and all of your high school years.
I don't know, Mom. I don't think Dad would be very happy if he knew I was seeing you in secret.
Please, dear, I'm your mother. Won't you let me get to know my only daughter? That's all I want.
All right.
Don't worry, dear. I won't say a single word to your father. He'll never be the wiser. You're right. I'm certain he'd be opposed to the two of us seeing each other. And really, I have no interest in speaking to him ever again anyway.
So, when do you want to meet?
And what about this Sunday?
This Sunday? You mean the day after tomorrow? That's pretty soon.
I know, honey, but I want to talk to you as soon as possible. Alina? What's going on? You're leaving already? You just got here, though. You haven't even been in the restaurant for 5 minutes yet.
Who was that guy who came with you, Mom? And why does he think he has the right to speak to me like that? Where did you pick that guy up, Mom? The strip club or something?
Hey! He's my husband. Don't talk about him like that.
I thought you were going to come alone. Wasn't it supposed to be just you and me? I was planning on coming to see you. I was never interested in meeting your husband.
Well, I told him I was going to see my daughter, and he said he wanted to come with me to meet you. He was curious about my life. What did you expect me to do? Tell him no?
After the way he talked to me just now, yeah, I wish you would have left him at home. I have never had anyone speak to me that way before in my life.
Oh, you're just being oversensitive. That's his way of saying hello. You should hear him when he's around his friends. He talks way dirtier than that. That's just how adults behave around other adults. You'll get used to it eventually.
In case you've forgotten again, I am an adult, Mom. And no one at my college has ever behaved like that around me. Is this the kind of person you associate with, Mom? Are all your friends a bunch of low-life creepers like him?
I don't like your attitude, Alina. I had no idea you were such a stuck-up little snot.
You know what I don't like, Mom? I don't like men twice my age that meet me for the first time and immediately tell me, quote, "Wow, you've got some big-ass honkers, girlie. What the hell?" And it's not like I'm some girl he met at the bar. I am his wife's daughter. He wasn't satisfied with just sexually harassing me either. He was bad-mouthing Dad, too.
Not. Oh, that? All he did was call him broke. What's so bad about that? I mean, it's true after all.
It's not a matter of whether it's true or not. I would never, ever associate with a person who speaks that way to and about other people. I'm not sitting at any table where he's sitting. I'm leaving, Mom, and I'm not coming back, so this is goodbye.
Oh. Fine, whatever. Go ahead and have your tantrum. We're gonna stay and enjoy the dinner, however. Oh, and there was one more thing I wanted to talk to you about tonight. I bet you can't answer the phone right now, so I'll just tell you by text. The truth is, the reason I invited you out to dinner tonight was to make a proposal that I think you're gonna like.
Oh yeah? What proposal is that?
Would you like to come and live with me? We've got a spare bedroom, and we'd be more than glad to have you.
What?
We have our own house, not an apartment, so you can feel free to come and go whenever you want, and won't have to worry about making any noise. And we'll give you 3 square meals a day. I bet it's been a while since you've had any decent food.
You have got some nerve saying that to me right now. You mean you want me to come and live under the same roof as that foul-mouthed creep?
I just got to thinking that I was able to escape poverty with your dad years ago, but you've been suffering through it this whole time. And I don't want my poor little daughter to suffer any longer. I talked with my husband about it for a bit, showed him some pictures of you, and he seemed really excited about having you live with us. You see, he's got a bit of a rough exterior, but there's a heart of gold beneath the surface.
And what about Dad, huh? What am I supposed to tell him? You think I'm going to tell him I'm going to live with you and he's going to say, okay, sure, sweetie, so long, have fun?
Bess. I don't get it, Alina. Why are you so concerned about what he thinks? You don't need to feel any attachment to a poor loser like your dad. You can come live with us and have a way better life. You can just give us a couple $100 a month for food and utilities. It'll be great.
Don't you dare call my dad a poor loser. He is by far a better, more hardworking, more caring person than you. You abandoned me.
I told you, I know he's a great guy and all, but being a great guy doesn't put food on the table. My husband puts plenty of food on the table. So go home, pack your bags, and come by the house later on tonight, okay?
Not in a million years. I wouldn't live with you even if Dad hadn't bought me my own house. I'd rather be homeless than live with you.
Wait, back it up. He bought you your own house. Nuh-uh, no way. There's no possible way a guy making $15,000 a year was able to buy you a house.
You're so clueless, Mom. You think he still makes the same amount as when you left us?
Oh no, don't tell me he changed careers or something. How much is he making these days?
I don't see any reason for me to tell you anything about what Dad is doing now. You don't have any part in our lives.
Sure I do. I'm your mother and his ex-wife.
You willingly cut yourself out of his life when you divorced him, Mom. And after what I just went through tonight, I don't even want to consider you my mother anymore.
Come on, Alina, don't be like that. Tell me more about your dad. You've got me curious.
Oh, now you're curious? The other night after the funeral, you told me you had no interest in speaking to him ever again. Now that you know he's got some money to his name, you're suddenly interested in him again? Just when I thought you couldn't disgust me any more than you already had.
Yes. All I want to know is how much he's making. You can tell me that.
You really want to know? Why don't you go and look it up yourself?
Holy crap! He's a CEO now? That's incredible.
Maybe you should have taken 5 seconds to search for his name before you called him a poor loser.
Yeah, well, I just did, and good grief. How in the world did he accomplish something like that? And he's not just the CEO of some minor firm that happens to hand out stocks. It's a legit company. Back when I left him, he was just some run-of-the-mill pencil pusher. What changed?
What changed is you leaving him. After you vanished, he started focusing super intently on his work. It's another one of those things that kids don't understand until they're adults. You leaving him because of money was excruciatingly painful for him. But instead of wallowing in self-pity, he decided to get the sweetest revenge on you that he possibly could, achieving major success.
Where did he get the money to start up that company anyway? He didn't have any savings.
An acquaintance of his provided the funding he needed. Dad always had a knack for making friends. That's one of the pleasant side effects of being a good person.
Okay, and then what happened? It's barely even been a decade, but he already made that company into an industrial giant?
He first started out doing some online sales and an accompanying delivery service. It's doing pretty well now, but things were pretty rough at the beginning. He decided to expand his operations to the Philippines on a whim, and it immediately took off.
Giant? You can say that again. Business is really booming for him. He has interviews in all the biggest economic journals. I never knew he had such a good business sense in him. So he's working overseas right now?
Yeah, he's based in Southeast Asia. He goes to Japan and China a lot too. Right now he's got a house of his own in every single country he does business in.
Oh, seriously? Man, if I had known he'd become this much of a success, I never would have left him. I could have had a house in the Philippines and Japan and a bunch of other countries I've never heard of.
Yeah, too bad for you.
And he bought a house for you too now, did he? And what's the deal with that?
He's been overseas on business for about 1.5 years now. He was renting a house around here until recently, and he decided to talk to the property manager about buying it outright, and they agreed. It's a beautiful house in a safe neighborhood with everything I need within walking distance.
Wait, so you're living in that house all by yourself? Don't you get lonely?
Well, whenever Dad comes back into the country, he always stays here, so I'm not by myself all the time. But eventually, he's going to transfer the title over to me and make it 100% mine. He says it'll be a good lesson in dealing with real estate.
Wait, so he's gonna give it to you?
That's right. He said once I've graduated college and am ready to start living on my own, he's going to hand over the house to me. I'll be free to live here, sell it, or rent it out. Seems like he really wants me to learn about real estate since it's a pretty simple side gig to bring in regular income.
He's buying you a house as a study tool? Good grief, he must be absolutely loaded.
It's less about the money and more about the experience. He's been all over the world talking to politicians, celebrities, businessmen, and experts from a wide range of fields. He learned a lot from them and wants to pass on the most important lessons to me, I guess. This is one of them.
If he's got the kind of money to buy an expensive house for his kid to play with, then he's got to have at least a 7-figure income, maybe even more. You've got to know, Alina. Tell me, how much is he making?
Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't know.
You mean it's more than you can even comprehend? Oh my God. How much of an allowance is he giving you? Are we talking upwards of $10,000 a month?
No, it's not that much. It's probably more than most kids get from their parents, but it's not quite that much. Remember, he's been through poverty once before in his life. His spending habits haven't changed significantly since then.
Yeah? Then he's got to have a bunch of money in savings. How about you give me a piece of that action, sweetheart?
Excuse me?
Let's see. How about $2,000 a month? That's just a drop in the bucket for you, right?
Do you actually think Dad's gonna give you money after what you did to him?
What? I'm not talking about him, silly. I'm talking about you.
Me? You want me to send $2,000 a month to the mother who abandoned me?
So I took a little break from being an active mother. I still gave birth to you. I'd say that's worth a measly $2,000 a month.
Took a break? Is that what you call it when you walk away from your husband and daughter?
Just shut up already, would you? You've got the cash, so cough it up. If you don't want to do it the easy way, fine. Maybe I'll drop by your college campus and tell your classmates what an ungrateful daughter you are. Is that what you want me to do?
You have no idea what college I'm going to, and you don't know any of my friends.
Then I'll go to every college in the city one by one until I find you. If you don't want that to happen, then you'll do as I say without putting up a fight. Don't make me warn you again.
It hasn't even been a week since we've reconnected, and you're already blackmailing me? I can't believe I share some of the same DNA with a classless, greedy lowlife like you.
You had better be more careful with what you say to me, little girl. You do not want to see what happens when I get angry. I have more ways than one to make you suffer.
Looks like I may have been too gracious in my assessment of you, Mom. If that's how you want to play, fine. Two can play at that game, though. I just got done telling Dad that you were trying to blackmail me. You'll be hearing from his lawyers shortly.
What? Lawyers?
Your blackmail has caused me a great deal of emotional pain and suffering, so you're going to be held accountable for that. I'll also sue you to recover the costs of the classes I'm missing because I'm too afraid to go to school.
I haven't done anything worth getting sued over.
You threatened to ruin my reputation with lies if I didn't send you money. That fits the legal definition of blackmail to a T.
I didn't mean it. I was just bluffing. You know, blowing off steam, venting.
That's legally irrelevant, I'm afraid.
Nina, I would like to sincerely apologize for what I said yesterday. I let my anger get the best of me. I'll never do it again, so please, don't sue me. With the kind of lawyers your dad can afford, who knows how much I'll have to fork out for this?
I have to admit, you took me a bit off guard with that blackmail attempt. Do you really need money that badly?
Well, the thing is, my husband has a rather large amount of debt, and I happen to have a certain condition that is very expensive to treat. I know I told you it was a coincidence when I met you at the funeral, but it wasn't. I thought I would bump into you if I went, so I went.
So you're penniless, but you still tried to get me to live with you? What for?
I thought that if you moved in with us, then we could charge you enough rent to make the mortgage payments. I mean, you're young and beautiful. Young and beautiful women can make a lot of money in the right industry.
You disgust me. Are you out of your mind? You were planning on using me for money? And you were going to try to get me to do that kind of work?
I figured even doing that would be better than living with your dad. As hard up for money as we are, I thought we were still making more money than him.
It's not about money. Oh, good grief. Is that all you can think about? Even if Dad was still making $15,000 like before, I would still pick him over you. I would never choose to live with a wicked, abusive mother like you. No matter what kind of trouble Dad was in, he would never think to try to use me like you were trying.
Hey, you can't talk to me that way.
If the shoe fits. You showed your wicked nature both when you abandoned me and last night. And I saw the way your husband was looking at me at the restaurant. I know exactly what he was planning to do to me.
Please, Alina, give me a break. I'm sick and need help.
Sounds to me like karma's come to bite you in the ass, Mom. And being sick isn't an excuse for being an evil wretch.
Please, don't sue me. I'm begging you. I don't have any money to spare right now.
If you will promise to never interfere in our lives from this day forward, then I'll drop my lawsuit.
I don't suppose you could arrange a conversation between me and your father?
Dad says he doesn't want to talk with you except through a lawyer, and I'm going to block your number as soon as this conversation is finished. I never want to hear from you again.
I'm so sorry for being a terrible mother to you, Alina, but I'm only doing what I need to do to get by.
Again. Yeah, so did Dad. But the difference is that Dad worked his way from nothing to being one of the wealthiest people in the world. Meanwhile, all you've managed to accomplish is a massive black hole where your heart used to be.
Sure, you're saying that now, but I know that deep down you want to have a relationship with me. You just went out of your way to meet me, didn't you?
I just wanted to see if you were worth having a relationship with, and I got my answer. I'm through with you. After that, my dad's lawyers got a notarized agreement from my mom to never contact us again. She wasn't kidding about her disease. It's pretty bad and treatment is very expensive. But that's not my problem. Dad told me to forget her, and I plan to do just that. It'll be easy considering how busy I am with college stuff. I've been doing a lot of thinking on what sort of work I want to do in the future, and I've made my decision. I want to help my dad with his business. So starting now, I plan on studying harder than ever to be able to help him out as much as I can. Wish me luck.
Hey, Wendy. How's it going? I just wanted to ask what you thought about going out for dinner tonight. I think it's been a while since you and I have eaten out at a restaurant, and I heard that a chicken place that opened up downtown is supposed to be really good. I heard especially good things about their whole chicken specials and thought we could split one. Does that sound like something you'd want to do?
Hey, Jonathan. I'm really sorry that I didn't say anything earlier, but I'll actually be working tonight.
Oh, really? I thought that you said today was going to be your day off.
Yeah, it was supposed to, but I guess someone called out sick. So now I'm being asked to come in to cover the evening shift.
Oh, shoot, I see. But even then, you're not going to be working all night, right? I mean, once the store closes and you've cleaned up, then you should be good to go, right?
Yeah, but this night we're doing inventory. So I'll have to stay extra long, even after the store has closed.
Darn it, that stinks. But I feel like you've been working the evening shifts a lot more recently. I thought you told them when you started there that you were just looking to work in the daytime.
I did say that, but I've kind of come around to working at night. Besides, the pay and tips get better for the evening shift, which also helps a lot.
Well, I'm glad that you're able to make more money doing this, but I just worry that you're working a little too hard. I just thought that you were going to work to kill some of the free time that you were complaining about having.
Well, that is how it started. But I'm actually thinking about asking for more hours and going to full-time work.
Well, if that's something that you really want to do, then I certainly won't stop you. But I've just been a little bit worried about you lately. You just seem to be more dour than your usual self. Another reason why I suggested eating out was because I thought it might cheer you up.
Oh, I see. I guess you really do know how to read me well, don't you?
Well, I'd certainly like to think so. Is something on your mind? You know that you can talk to me about anything, right?
Well, it's about my mom actually, if you really want to know.
What's wrong with your mom? Is everything okay?
Please don't tell anyone else about this, but my mom told me recently that she has cancer.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, Wendy. That's just horrible. Did she say how far along it is?
It isn't so far advanced that it can't be taken care of, or operated on, or anything like that. But it's still just a bit worrying, and she's going to be getting treatment for it soon. I can tell you more about everything tonight in person.
Of course, yeah. I really am so sorry. I had no idea about any of this at all. Does this have something to do with why you're wanting to work so much more? Are you worried about having to help her pay for her treatments and stuff?
Pretty much, yeah. At this rate, I don't see how my mom is going to be able to keep working. She told me that she's going to quit her job soon, but that she'll still have to pay for the treatment somehow.
Wendy, why didn't you tell me about any of this sooner? You've been carrying this around with you all by yourself.
Well, I just didn't want you to feel responsible at all for any of my family's problems. I just thought that I'd be able to take care of this myself if I just worked harder.
I understand and really appreciate all of that, but we're family now. Your family is my family, and I am more than willing to help out if there's a need for it. You don't have to do this all by yourself, Wendy.
Jonathan, are you sure about this?
Of course I am. It's my honor to be able to be there for you and yours. We're going to take care of this together.
Thank you so much. I don't know what else to say but thank you. Maybe you could give me some money once a month and I'll add it to what I give to my mom to help her with her treatments?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Just how much were you thinking you would need?
Well, if it isn't too much, maybe you could give around $1,500 a month?
$1,500? That really is a bit of money.
I know it's a lot. I'm sorry if that's too much. Is it too much to ask for even $1,000 a month? I'm sure we could afford that if we could really save.
No, we can afford to do $1,500 a month. This is important, and if it's what your mom needs from us right now, then I can tighten my belt and make sure she gets the money she needs.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. You have no idea how much a relief this is for me.
You really don't need to thank me at all. I know that money isn't going to guarantee that your mom gets better, but if it's what we can do to help, then we should.
Okay, but now how thankful I am and how happy you've made me doing this. And please, just act like you have no idea about the cancer around her. I think my mom is still wanting to keep this to herself for now, and hasn't even told all her friends and relatives. So please, just be careful, okay?
Yeah, of course. Whatever your mom needs to be as comfortable as she can at this time. If she asks where you're getting the money from, you can just tell her about how you're working more hours or got a raise or something.
That's a good idea. Thanks again. You really do have no clue just how much of a weight off my shoulder this is.
You're never alone, Wendy. I'll always be there for you and your family, okay? I just wish that I could talk to her about this since it's so worrying.
You're right. I'll try and get her to open up to you soon about this. I don't want to be lying to my mom any more than you do.
And knowing you, I don't know just how long we'll be able to fool your mom about this.
And if we do have the chance to, I really would like to go that new restaurant with you. It sounds really good. But we'll have to set that aside for another time. I hope you have a good rest of your break and work day. Hey John, I know that you're at work right now, but I was wondering if you had a second to talk real quick.
Yeah, sure. I can text for a little bit. What's the matter?
Well, it's about my mom actually. Oh, this is really bad and I just don't know how to say it.
It's okay. You can tell me, Wendy. Is everything okay with your mom?
No, they're not actually. She got scammed for $3,000 by some guy online who said he had the cure for cancer.
Your mom paid $3,000 for a fake cancer cure? How could she fall for that? Surely she should have known better.
I don't know. I guess she must have been feeling really desperate at the time. But if there was a cure for cancer that cheap, then there's no way other treatments would be this expensive.
I can't believe she fell for something like that. She really must be taking this really hard.
I know. She paid for this medicine and it all's just weird herbs and teas and I don't know what we're going to do with all this.
I guess there's no way to try and get a refund for all of that either, right?
No, I already called the bank and they said that since we received products, we can't ask for our money back. My mom tried reaching out to the guy who sold her this for more details and he's not responding anymore.
I guess that means we can't really count on catching this guy for what he did then.
This is just so awful. How could someone do this to my mom? And what's my mom going to do now? She's out so much money.
Well, I can't say that I completely understand what your mom was thinking, but it's clear that she must be very scared about her diagnosis.
And that makes sense to me, of course. But she can't keep up like this, or else she'll run out of money. And it's just more frustrating because that's money that we were giving her to use on her real treatment.
I know, Wendy, but it's okay. Let's just take a step back and calm down a little. To your mom, that money wasn't wasted. And maybe it helped buy her some peace of mind at the time.
I know, but now the money is gone and all we have are these teas to show for it.
Yeah, I mean, I am kind of surprised that she would agree to pay that much money for something like that.
I guess she'll put it all on her credit card. But since she's not working, I don't know how she thought she was going to pay it off.
Right. Well, we can't have your mom collecting interest and falling into debt on a purchase like this. Maybe your mom could use her savings to pay the card off, and we'll see what else we can do to help her.
I thought about doing that, but I don't think that she even has that much left in her savings.
Really? That kind of surprises me, actually. I would have thought that your mom was better about saving money.
Me too. I always thought that she was putting a little aside for her future. Not to mention the fact that she'll be getting her retirement in a few years. But I just thought that she has more saved up.
Right, okay. Well, if that's the case, then I think we can cover that purchase for now.
You mean that you'll pay off my mom's credit card debt?
Well, I don't really see what other choice we have at the moment. It's just better to get that cleared off her account as soon as possible. It would make things more difficult for all of us if that debt was just left to grow.
Are you sure about this? I mean, it was a mistake that my mom made by herself. You shouldn't have to do this, John.
Wendy, really is okay, promise. Just maybe try and tell your mom to not do anything like that again, okay? We can't afford to keep covering for her like this.
Okay, John, thank you so much. I'll make sure my mom knows that this can't happen again if she wants to count on our help.
You don't have to apologize for her, Wendy. Just try and be there for your mom while she's going through this, okay? And let's remember to be patient with her because she's the one going through all of this.
You're right, John. I do need to cut her some more slack. You really are such a kind and caring man, do you know that? I feel so lucky to have you in my life.
Well, I really do feel the same exact way, Wendy. I'm glad we're going through this together.
I know, but I still feel like I've dumped all of this on you at once.
It's not like that at all. We're married and you know that you can always come to me for help like I know I can go to you. Even just being with you makes me happy.
You mean that? Just being around me makes you happy, John? I guess that means I don't have to worry about anything else but existing then, right?
That's not quite what I meant, but I am more than happy to handle this all for you if you want.
Wait a second, you mean that? I would think you would get mad if I just didn't contribute anything at all.
Maybe most people would, but you know that you're my weakness. I would probably let you get away with just about anything.
Jonathan, I don't know what to say. You really are such a sweetie, and I'm really so lucky to have you.
Yeah, I guess you kind of are, aren't you?
Okay, don't get too carried away there now. Anyways, I'm going to be visiting my mom tomorrow. I'll give her the money and tell her she has to be more careful. I'll make sure she understands that this can't happen again.
Thanks for doing that. I guess that means you won't be getting home till late that day, right?
Yeah, it's about 2 hours in there and back from my mom's place, so...
Got it. Well, why not just spend the night over at her place? No need to run yourself ragged running around like that. Besides, I'm sure that your mom would love to have you over for a couple of nights.
Well, I don't have any work the day after, so I guess that could work. If I just could come home that night.
No problem at all. Just let me know what you're going to do. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to be leaving for a work trip next month.
Oh, really? How long are you going to be away?
I think it shouldn't be longer than a week.
Got it. And that reminds me, sorry for talking up too much of your time while you're at work.
It's no problem at all. I'm actually taking off a couple hours early anyways.
Got it. I'll think of something extra special for dinner, so look forward to that.
Hey, Wendy, I was just wondering if you had a little time to talk to me.
John, I was just thinking of messaging you. But then your message popped up as soon as I opened my phone. Isn't that funny? Anyways, I really miss you. How's your business trip going? Did they put you in a good hotel?
Actually, yeah, the hotel is pretty nice for once.
Well, that's good to hear. You should send me some pictures of where you're at.
Of course. Anyways, how have you been lately? Is everything okay with you?
Well, actually, my mom has checked herself into the hospital for the time being. So I've been house sitting for her. I asked my work to give me the week off so that I could be with my mom while you're away on your business trip.
Oh, wait, really?
What do you mean, really? What's wrong with that? Should I not be with my mom at her house right now?
I just don't really see why you would need to be there with her when she's here with me right now. Also, she seems to have no idea why you think she might have cancer and seems to be pretty upset over it.
Hold on a second. You're with my mom right now? Well, that can't be right. What are you talking about?
I mean that your mom happened to be staying at the same hotel that my work is putting me up at. I was so shocked to see her walk in the lobby when I walked in. She was looking really healthy, so I asked her if she was feeling better and how her treatments were going.
Oh, really? Well, I guess that my mom must have just been lying to you. I told you before that she didn't want people to know about her cancer, right?
Right. Well, your mom is reading all of these messages and says that she's going back home tomorrow to talk to you. I also asked a coworker of mine to take care of things here, and I'll be going home the day after as well. It seems that we all have a lot to talk about.
John, are you really not going to come home today again?
I already told you that I'm not going to set foot in that house until you've gone.
Please don't be like this. I really am sorry. Can't we just talk this out?
And just what is there to talk about, Wendy?
I mean, you're not seriously going to divorce me, right?
Yes, I am actually. Not only were you cheating on me, but you lied to me about your mom having cancer. And on top of that, you used the money that I was giving for her treatments on dates with your boyfriend. I can't think of a single reason why I shouldn't divorce you.
Please, if it's about the money, I can pay you back. It'll take time a bit, but I just don't want you to divorce me.
You think it's just about the money? That's the last thing I'm thinking about. You lied to me and cheated on me. What makes you think I'd want to stay with you after that?
I think if we talked again, I might get you to rethink this. I really am sorry that I lied to you. I didn't mean to hurt you like this.
Somehow, I'm just not buying it.
Please, you know that even my mom said she never wanted to talk to me again. You're all I have left.
Well, I can't really say that I blame her. You made up a story about her being sick to extort money out of me so you could cheat on me.
But I've learned my lesson. I've stopped talking to that guy and I just want you back now.
You learning your lesson now is not going to make me change my mind about this.
But you know that I've only ever loved you. You're the nicest person I've ever met.
And you took advantage of that kindness and used it to betray me. I may be patient, but even I have my limits, and I don't enjoy being played with like that.
Please, you can't divorce me. How am I supposed to pay for the alimony or the money you're suing me for because of the affair?
Yeah, I suppose you probably should have thought about that before you did what you did. But I don't know you anything, actually. You've got some nerve even trying to ask me not to leave you.
I really am sorry. John, I promise that it'll never happen again. I swear it.
I know it won't happen again because you and I are getting divorced. I don't really see what else there is to say about the matter. I paid for your mom's cancer treatment when I was the one who had a parasitic tumor this whole time. After that, Wendy knew she had no other choice and went along with the divorce. Her mom and I found out that she was cheating when her neighbor called about some strange man coming and going from her house while she was out of town. I called in a favor from an old friend to look into this guy, and he quickly discovered that he was having an affair with Wendy, who thought both her mom and I were out of town. In the end, the two of them had to pay me a hefty sum for their affair that left Wendy penniless. She begged for her mom to let her stay at her house, but she refused. Instead, Wendy moved far away with what little savings she had left. Now, I hear that she is working multiple jobs just to afford a tiny apartment where she barely makes ends meet. Wendy's mom apologized profusely to me for the mix-up and even offered to pay me back the money I had thought was being given to her. I told her that it wasn't fair for her to do that and just moved on with my life. Months after the divorce, and although I'm still adjusting to the single life, I'm glad to at least know that I'm not being taken advantage of like I was with Wendy.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.